Find out how you can advertise with the storytellers of Houston. Houston City Beat. Contact info@HoustonCityBeat.com today.
Thanks for being here with us today, Lance.
Thanks for having me, Liz. I'm excited to be on your show.
Yeah, me too. I love your bus. Y'all have to go check out his website at coolbushouston.com. So I want to know what inspired you, Lance, to start Cool Bus Houston.
Well, I used to work for the Houston Texans, and the guy who was our mascot, who was Toro, told me about a friend of his who started a party bus company in Atlanta called the Fur Bus. And so I thought that was a pretty interesting concept. So I called the guy up, got some information about it, learned his story, and I told myself, I want to own a party bus. I want to start a party bus. That was in 2008. Well, when you work at sports, you don't have any money or free time, so the idea kind of sat dormant in my head for a few years. Fast forward to 2013, we went to a wedding in San Diego where they had booked a party bus to take everybody out for their wedding activities. And the guy who owned the party bus then, he and I got to know each other. We had a few phone calls after the wedding was over, and I kind of reignited the fire. At that point I said, all right, I'm going to establish my LLC 2013, and I'm just going to figure out what it is like to be an entrepreneur. So then in 2015 I found we're sitting in right now, the Cool Bus. Found it for purchase, I bought it, and about 10 months later it was up and running in 2016, and haven't missed a beat since.
That's awesome. So this is not your regular bus, right? So you had to come in here when you purchased the bus, you had to do a lot of the changes that you see, which is what the Cool Bus Houston is now. So did you do this yourself, or you sent this out to a company that made all these changes for you?
Well, luckily the bus that I purchased, ironically enough, was a tailgating bus for Texans games. So I saw it for sale on the side of the road. It had Texans logos all over it. The guy was selling it because he had converted it into his own party bus for Texans tailgating events. And so he had already actually removed the seats. He added the bench seating that we're on right now. He added some sound effects to it. He also had the vertical support beam that you see in front of us right here. He added that already. And
this is what you call the vertical support beam?
I call this a vertical support beam. This is not a stripper pole. This is a vertical support beam. It has a structural integrity to our bus right here.
Oh, wow. Okay, and I thought all this time it was a stripper pole.
No, definitely not. No.
Okay, good.
But so after I purchased the bus, he had already kind of done the framework for me. So I wound up finding a company to reupholster everything, add the sound, add the lighting, add my air conditioning, paint it, do my decor on the outside, and really make it to what it is, the Cool Bus right now.
Okay, great. So being an entrepreneur comes with challenges at times. So what is it that makes all of those challenges worth it for you?
That's a great question, and what makes it worth it to me is when I can be on the bus and I can see families who have been continuously booking the Cool Bus year after year after year, and I can see their kids grow from infants to toddlers to young kids. They're bringing their family on here because they want to experience the Cool Bus together for Christmas lights, or for maybe for a prom for their oldest kid, and then their youngest kid is just entering high school. 4 years later, they're going to prom, which we've done before. We've actually done 2 proms a few years apart from each other for one of the oldest and then the youngest. But one of the most memorable times I can remember was we did a wedding for a group of young ladies, and or we picked up the bridal party from their house, and on the way to the venue, the girls were talking and they were having fun, and I could just hear them over talking to each other and say, this was the best money we ever spent of the whole wedding. It was booking the Cool Bus for just a few minutes, or about an hour to drive the Cool Bus from their house in Rice Military out to their venue in Spring, Texas, and they were just able to relax and have a good time on the bus. And so to hear them say that, I knew I was onto something. That was probably within my first 3 months of operation.
Nice. That's a good way to get started.
That's right.
So what about your worst experience? Now, you gave me a story at the front end when we were talking earlier. You mentioned a little bit about it. You want to tell us about what happened and how you overcame that big obstacle that you faced?
Yeah, absolutely. So we had we were doing a prom, and we had some kids on the bus who were trying to partake in a few things that might not have been kosher on the bus. So
bad kids.
Very bad. And so we had to tell them to stop doing their activities, and they did. Well, fast forward about 45 minutes later on the bus, we were driving out to their after party where I was going to be taking them, and I got a flat tire, had a blowout. And so I had to pull over into a grocery store parking lot. Luckily, it just happened to be there. It was kind of like a beacon of light that I was able to coast into this grocery store parking lot. Everybody got out of the bus. Everybody was safe. We took the kids in there. I bought them some snacks and some Cokes and things. And then their parents, luckily, were only about 20 minutes away, so they came and picked them up, took them back to where they were going. Well, I had to sit there and wait for the tow truck to show up with a new tire and get me back on the road. Well, that was at about 11 o'clock when that flat tire happened. I didn't get home till about 7 a.m. the next day, and it was also Mother's Day weekend. So I didn't get home till about 7 a.m. Mother's Day, and it was just a very long night, very long day. And but I made it home, and everybody was safe. But it was just an experience that's one of those stories that I'm always going to remember about being an entrepreneur, running this bus, and having that experience. Which
makes rules important, right? So which leads me to my next question: what do you not allow on this bus?
So we do not allow glitter. I hate glitter.
No glitter.
No glitter on the bus. It gets everywhere. It gets sticky. It's very difficult to clean up. We don't allow confetti. We don't allow feather boas or silly string. With the confetti, kind of a funny story about the confetti. We had these balloons that people had decorated the bus with for a bachelorette party. And at the end of the night, I was going around popping all the balloons.
Oh no.
And the very last balloon I came to, I popped it and confetti went everywhere. And I just sat, it was about 3:30 in the morning at this point, and I just sat there and I just shook my head and I just had to take it. I was like, I just couldn't believe that the very last thing I was trying to clean up had confetti in it. So that's when I made the rule, no confetti allowed.
So what about alcohol, teenagers and alcohol? Do you allow that?
Oh, absolutely not.
No alcohol for the teenagers?
No alcohol at all. And we've also had some run-ins with that along the way, but we've had to, we're very strict on when it comes to that policy, and we do not allow alcohol for underage kids on the bus. And if you try to sneak it on, we'll see it and we'll throw it out and roll it.
The bus driver will catch you.
And we're going to end the ride right there.
Yeah.
So, while we're the cool bus, we're here to have a good time. We do have rules, especially underage drinking, we do not allow on the bus.
Okay, great. And what about for the adults? What do you not allow adults to do on the bus?
So I would say fighting, definitely.
No fighting? What fun is that?
No fighting at all on the bus. And any kind of illegal drugs, illegal substances, we do not allow any of that on the bus. And so same thing with the kid. If we see that, we would tell the adults to stop, and we would have to end that ride immediately.
They will get busted. So what about when you're driving? Do you let people stand up when you're driving? Is
Absolutely.
that like a thing?
Yeah, definitely a thing. It makes it more fun. That's part of being on the cool bus. You can stand up, you can dance. Some people really enjoy being on our bus because you can do that as opposed to a limo where you have to stay seated the whole time. It might be cramped up. On the cool bus, you can kind of stretch your legs a little bit. You can stand up, you can dance, you can take a ride on our vertical support beam, and
you can take a ride on your vertical support beam.
That's right. Yeah, so you can take a spin on it if you will. Some people.
Oh, the vertical support. Yes. Okay, sorry. Hello. Sometimes it takes me a while.
That's all right.
Okay, that's awesome. So I'll have to let Mike try that out.
Sounds good.
So thank you, Lance, for letting us come out here and get to know the Cool Bus Houston. How can we find you?
Yeah, you can find us on our website at coolbushouston.com, or you can find us on our social media channels on Facebook and Instagram at Cool Bus Houston. A lot of people will book us for different types of events, so we do everything from weddings, we do birthday parties, adults and kid birthday parties. We also do a lot of, we do quinceaneras, we do sporting events, so we'll do Texans games, Astros games, Rockets. We go as far as College Station to go to Texas Aggie football games.
Do you do UFC fights?
I've not done one yet, but we'll go there.
Okay, because I'm a real big fan of the UFC stuff, so I would love to see a UFC fight.
Just don't bring the fighting on the bus.
Yeah, no fighting on the bus, but yeah, okay, cool.
And then some of our biggest events are some of our busiest time of year is December, where we do a lot of Christmas light tours around Houston. So we'll pick you up at your house and we'll take you through different neighborhoods around town, looking at different Christmas lights. And so they're great for families or just a girls' night out or just a bunch of friends getting together and enjoying the holiday season.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Lance, again, and make sure to check out coolbushouston.com, where all the fun happens on the bus with 4 wheels.